Godzilla, King of the Monsters, is only a few months away. Let that sink in for a second. The epic confrontation between some of the most famous monsters in all of cinema. And while this upcoming fight between the Titans of Earth appears to be heading towards the best ever in the series, we cannot just forget about the past. Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah have faced off multiple times before over the decades. But for this video, we're going to focus on the main event of the fight card, Ghidorah. So residents like Kaiju Fan 13579 here, sit back, grab ya a pint or your juice box and sit with us as I bring to you the history of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Let's get to it. The very first meeting between these two titans was way back in 1964. This origin had Ghidorah being a destructive alien from space that was hell-bent on destroying worlds, and Earth was next in line. Ghidorah lay waste to entire cities before Mothra, the guardian of humanity, had enough of his shit, and did her best to get Godzilla and Rodan, who were in the midst of a raging battle with each other, to set aside their differences and join the fight against the greater threat. Godzilla and Rodan, being two grumpy old guys, pretty much just straight up ignored Mothra's call for help, forcing Mothra to take on Ghidorah all by herself. Mothra was in her larva stage and stood no chance against the power of Ghidorah, as the three-headed tyrant seemed to just be toying with the much weaker kaiju. This is when Godzilla and Rodan got a bit upset. Always fighting each other or not, the two monsters had standards. They fought with honor, and couldn't stand this unfair fight, so they joined the battle. The combined forces of all three monsters kicked the crap out of Ghidorah, and forced the monster back out to the void of outer space. A sequel to the three-headed monster was soon after released, and this time, the fight was going to be taken off of Earth. Aliens known as Exilians asked humanity to send Rodan and Godzilla to their planet, known as Planet X, to help fend off Ghidorah once more, as the monster had chosen their planet next after his defeat on Earth. Godzilla and Rodan proved once again to be a great team, and beat Ghidorah once more. In exchange for the help from Rodan and Godzilla, the Exilians sent the humans back with a supposed cure for cancer, but this cure ended up being just a gigantic trap. The Exilians then showed their evil plan. Ghidorah was with them the entire time, and the aliens only asked Rodan and Godzilla off the planet so Earth would be helpless to stop them. They forced Godzilla and Rodan under their own mind control and sent them back to Earth to wreak havoc. Now Rodan and Godzilla were under alien control, but luckily humanity found a way to turn the tide and broke the mind control the aliens had on the monsters. With nothing to stop them, the legendary duo teamed up for one last fight with Ghidorah, and once again wiped his ass all the way out to space. This movie had Kilax, some more evil aliens, who were controlling all of Earth's monsters until humanity was able to stop that. Godzilla and the rest of the monsters, seeking revenge, gathered near the Kilik home base. The aliens then released King Ghidorah in hopes of defeating the monsters. This is when one of the most epic fights in Godzilla history happened. Ghidorah was able to hold his own against multiple other kaiju, including Godzilla, but he was still just fighting a losing battle. Godzilla destroyed the Kilik home base, which caused a fissure to occur. King Ghidorah's lifeless body fell into the ravine. So at this point, Ghidorah was clearly not faring so well being ganged up on, so the aliens in Godzilla vs. Gigan paired Ghidorah up with Gigan, a low-key but fan-loved monster. This time, Godzilla had his buddy Anguirus with him, and thus began an epic tag team match. Isn't it cool how the Godzilla franchise has always been like this monster equivalent of professional wrestling? I'm just waiting for Ric Flair to come out of nowhere. Gigan went on to badly injure Godzilla, which left Anguirus to be mobbed by the power of the two monsters. Luckily, humanity was able to once again mess up the mind control powers held over Gigan and Ghidorah, which left the monsters confused and open to attack. Godzilla and Anguirus regrouped and then laid down the sauce on their enemies, once again forcing Ghidorah to run away with his tails between his legs. When 3 creatures known as Dorats were exposed to an H-bomb test, they were abruptly transformed and mutated into King Ghidorah. Being controlled by the Futurians, another damn evil alien race of a-holes, King Ghidorah was sent out on a destructive path. The Futurians, who thought they prevented Godzilla from ever coming into existence, were soon met with disgust as Godzilla no doubt still appeared to fight Ghidorah. The monsters fought and Ghidorah was once again gaining the upper hand, until humans attacked the mothership of the aliens and destroyed the computer controlling Ghidorah. Toho seemed to have a real clear obsession with mind control and aliens back in the day. That really was like the focus of every single Godzilla film, it seems like, or at least with Ghidorah. But I mean, hey, screw new ideas, right? Godzilla then used his nuclear pulse to get some distance between him and Ghidorah, knocking Monster Zero into perfect position. A perfect position for his atomic breath to blow Ghidorah's middle and dominant head clear off. As Ghidorah tried to escape, Godzilla aimed for Ghidorah's wings, crippling the flying monster, causing him to fall into the deep oceans, hopefully to never return again. A sequel to Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah would soon after be released, with Godzilla now amped up on nuclear juice and with his ego swelling after his recent victory with Ghidorah. He was rampaging across all of Japan, destroying at will, so something had to be done. The character Emi Kano, a time-traveling human from the future, decided she would use Ghidorah's body and make a Frankenstein-like creature, adding cybernetic enhancements, metal wings and chest, a variety of fancy new weaponry, and a completely new center neck and head made out of metal, thus making Mecha-King Ghidorah. With this new cyborg Ghidorah, Emi was able to beat Godzilla, carrying the G-Man out over the oceans. Godzilla wasn't to go down that easily though, and blasted the mecha wings off of Ghidorah, causing them both to fall into the ocean. Mecha-King Ghidorah was no more, and Godzilla was stopped. With Toho taking some time to make some standalone Mothra films, the Godzilla creators went on to develop a TV series spin-off of their monsterverse, calling their new series Godzilla Island. Godzilla and Ghidorah faced off during this series, and it went about like all the other fights. Mind control was broke, Godzilla gained the advantage and forced Ghidorah to run away like the little bitch that he apparently always is. Ghidorah was based on the Yamato no Orochi, which you can learn about in this video right here. And in GMK Godzilla, Ghidorah was exactly that, the mythical dragon itself. Using the souls of Japan's honorable dead, Ghidorah was resurrected and was now set to face off with Godzilla, but this time with the help of Mothra, as this was one of the movies where Godzilla was the true bad guy. Ghidorah went on to electrocute Godzilla with each and every bite that was struck. The G-Man swatted Mothra aside with his tail and bit down on Ghidorah's neck before slamming him onto a building. Just as Godzilla was about to finish Ghidorah with his atomic breath, Mothra flew in front of the beam and was blasted away. Mothra did not die for nothing though, as her energy was absorbed by Ghidorah, making him stronger than ever. Able to generate a shield now, Godzilla's atomic blast could do nothing to Ghidorah, but Ghidorah's energy beam did massive damage to the G-Man. The fight soon led the monsters to battle beneath the water, and when humans attempted to fire a missile at a wound on Godzilla's neck, it ended up striking King Ghidorah's neck instead and rendered him unconscious on the seafloor. A sacred stone was then dropped into the water, which revived Ghidorah once again. Ghidorah gave one last powerful blast towards Godzilla, but he was able to absorb the attack's energy and use it against Ghidorah, unleashing an attack so powerful that it simply vaporized the three-headed monster. All these battles of the past, the history of Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, all are leading up to the greatest battle the two iconic monsters will probably ever have. We don't know exactly how it's gonna go down, but if history tells us anything, you may just be able to predict how it will go. But that is just an idea for another day. Also, there are a bunch of extended lore matchups that showcase Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, so let us know if you want to see some of them. Residents, I hope you like this history of video. You can expect us to make a video detailing the fight of Ghidorah and Godzilla after the release of King of the Monsters. But in the meantime, Tell us if you want to see more videos on the specific fights between the rest of the monsters. As always, residents, this has been Jacob, and peace out.